Zanele. Welcome back to another edition of Wololo Wednesday. If you are new here, welcome. Subscribe. So now in Wololo Wednesday, is a Wololo Wednesday. And today we're having a discussion on the many money lessons that I have learned. So I have learned a lot in this season of my life, and the idea that I would have had to gone through life and learn all of these lessons in a time where they would carry so much weight and so much responsibility is very scary. Like, had my life not turned out the way it has, I feel like I would have struggled later on in life a lot. I don't think I'm the first person to ever be in a season of time where I feel like I'm ahead of my time. Like, I feel like as a 20-year-old, there's some things that I'm doing that I feel like I don't want to say that's not what a 20-year-old should do, but it's not typical for a 20-year-old to be handling finances the way I think I'm handling them. And I'm not the first person to do something like this. I know this for a fact, but I didn't see it anywhere else. I watch YouTubers for other things. I watch YouTubers for mental health. I watch content creators for this. I have other people in different types of community, like my colleagues, my friends. You know, all of these people that have helped me to guide me in a particular way in other aspects of life, but not specifically when it comes to my finances. So it's very scary to even imagine Uguti I would have had to gone like through these growth spurts and growth pains at a stage in my life where like now it's like do or die. You know what I mean? I feel like because I'm younger and it's earlier on in my life, I can make a lot more mistakes. I can just kind of maneuver, do this and that, and it wouldn't carry so much weight and it wouldn't have as many consequences as it would have when I'm older. And so I am so passionate about making sure that the people that I can help to not go through something like this don't go through something like this. Like, imali is actually like a huge discussion. It could possibly be because I place a lot of pressure on myself because I have goals for the long term, for my long-term life that I have placed on myself, and all of these different things that I have put pressure on myself about. But if I can help somebody else navigate these seasons of their life and these issues much better than I have, it makes everybody's lives easier. And I always tell my friends, like, I wish y'all would struggle as much as I've struggled when I've already gone through it and I've already done that. I'm not doing it just because, like, yeah, just because I worked out, just because I scraped the barrel and I struggled, ganji. Now everybody else after you has to do the same thing and just struggle with this topic and just struggle with these issues the same way you did. Then what's the point? Why did you even go? I really truly believe it shouldn't be this hard. So I've done it. Okay, I felt it. I felt the burn. You don't have to. Okay? So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this series, and that's why I want to learn from you guys. This is not a canon event. You can definitely tell me what's up. Somebody has already done it before. I remember a time a subscriber back then, she's a friend of mine now. She was like, girl, don't get that account on Foshini. Unfortunately, I was in too deep. But she was like, don't get the account on Foshini because Foshini bank the credits and gaga. And when if you spend goods or your low credit limits, you don't make enough money. Get somewhere that has a lower credit limit. So and she recommended Rage and Mr. Price and stuff like that. Which is so true. I had learned from her. Like, and in the same way that I would have hoped that I think I shared something that helped her in her season as well. So this is not a canon event. Tell me what's up if you feel like anything that I'm sharing is useful. If maybe I might have missed something out, you can share it down in the comments. Let somebody else know. Let our peers know, because I really feel like my peers, we're not taking this money thing seriously. You know, it's all about enjoyment, and I get it. It's so necessary for enjoyment, guys. Even nani ngibona kula ma vlogs la saying hamba ngiyo enjoy yabo, but ningangibuki ngi-enjoy abafethu mina ziningi izinto engizenzayo behind the scene. I really want to make sure that if I can help it, I'll help you guys as much as I can, and obviously I hope that you guys pour into me as much as you would like as well. Without further ado, let's get into the many money lessons. This is just the first installment. This is gonna be more, child. We're gonna circle back and do a part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. The older I get, I'm sure there's gonna be more money lessons that I'm gonna be learning. So let's get into the many money lessons that I've learned. The first lesson that I've learned, which is basically the foundation of how I navigate all of these issues in my life currently, is financial literacy. Financial literacy is so important. And for me, it started at home. Some people's parents are comfortable talking to them about this. My parents have always been comfortable and very open and transparent with their finances and the financing of this household. It's so wild because for me, it always was weird. I'd see other families and how openly like we'd speak about money, and I noticed my friends, when they would speak about topics of the house, I'm like, I know so much more. Like I have so much knowledge of what this means, what a bond means, what a bond originator is, what a repayment should look like, about a rip rate, about interest, about a petrol card, And it'd be so weird because I realized even discussing something like a salary in other households would be such a taboo issue. Like Kaya, Nancy pay sleeping. My sister and I would both be very much included and involved in just seeing all of these things, and I am so grateful to my parents for that. I'm so grateful because through that, I think unknowingly to them and subconsciously for me, it built up this confidence and this comfortability that I had with money and how to deal with it and how it's not a taboo thing. And because once India is taboo, guys, it just becomes crazy, and you leave room for just lies and deception to creep in, which is not good. It doesn't help no one in the long run. It went as far as when it was time to pay for my school fees. Mama asked some school fees say bank, ngibone account number, ngibone na ipin mama, ngibone imali sesikole ukuthi badingane esikoleni, ngibone ukuthi uma uhola malini, athi yeah, khokha ke isikole sakhe. And to be honest, ignorance is bliss for real, because what type of child wants to see that, like, dang, am I a burden? Like, do I cost that much money? Like, are they really doing this for me? We'd have discussions with my parents just randomly on like the ripple rate, how the ripple rate is decreasing, so they're gonna go to the bank and increase the payment on the house so that they can finish the payment on our home quicker. Awazi into until yenzeka, because ngempela bafethu, nothing is ever wasted. Awazi into ngesikhathi yenzeka, but usubona later ukuthi yo, okay, I heard my parents tell me this about a balloon payment. I remember Uguti, there's some things that you should deposit for. I see Uguti, my parents make this much money and we pay this much towards Izindo. And so, you know, living beyond and below your means and all of those different things. I remember even sitting with one of my brokers, and she was just like, dang, your parents really did a number on you, didn't they? And I was like, yes, they really did. Yo, let me tell you something. If there is one thing that my parents showed me that I will most certainly be showing my children, is that I had a bank account of maybe like 10 years old. I never really used it until like grade 7, grade 6 and high school onwards, but they would pay a certain amount of money, and each year that money would increase the same way. When you do like a savings account, it increases leo money every year, the same way your salary increases every year, the same way inflation increases every year. Even details like that, ukuthi imali yami every year would increase. It translated so much into impilo yami manje ukuthi okay, every year salary yami increase, every year even expenses zami ziya increase, my savings will increase kancane. There's an increment every year. Do you understand what I'm talking about, ukuthi, how important it was and how grateful I am, ukuthi, I grew up in a household that made sure. But I'm so glad, ukuthi, Nami, I had the mind to take note of these things. Ukuthi, hold on a second, this is not my first rodeo. I had a bank account. I know ukuthi, when my allowance comes in, I will spend the. So I know when my salary comes in at the end of the month, and spend it. There's a plan, there's a budget, there's a savings that we need to take care of. I hope my man, wherever he is, he's learning. He's learning, because we're gonna have a hard time. So Pifa, if you know, unfortunately he didn't have that upbringing and he handles money and he handles his lifestyle in a different way. Best believe financial literacy is a huge thing, and get it anywhere you can. You can get it from YouTube. Here, I follow Abom Financial Bunny. Forget their names now. When she speaks, she goes, hey tribe, Hubalo, Humabalo. But she did You're Not Broke, You're Pre-Rich book. I remember reading the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book in like high school. Get it where you can. Get the financial literacy where you can. curate your feed and curate your content that you're seeing everywhere to align that way, and you can learn from anyone. Now, even though my parents taught me from a very young age about money and being financially literate in the best way that they possibly could, in a way that I think was very digestible for me as well as a child, they didn't prepare me for this one thing. We all know ukuthi imali yamshintsha umuntu. Point blank, period. You as a person have the choice. Does it change you for the better or does it change you for the worse? I will be the first to admit, when I first started working and when I first started making money and having a salary coming in, it changed me for the worst, just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. And I'm glad, Uguti, I had that little bit of a spanking when I did. When I first got a job, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna change. I'm just gonna be a good person. And I was like, yeah, but my parents now need to let me do A, B, and C because I'm not a burden to them anymore. I can carry my own weight now. I can do. How about you, because do what I want, I did, Sana. And it was wild. So I went out with some friends, ne? And I had been going out like almost every other day. And my parents weren't really complaining about it. But I feel like the past squad, but they were just like, you know? Like, I feel like no, they didn't want to tell me too much, you know, when you to kind of do their own thing. And you're just like, you hope they realize sooner or later it was something like that. I remember even friends were just like, Tanda, dude, like you're going out every other day, you're busy, you're outside, njalo, because it's not something engenzayo vele. But I felt like, and I really do, I felt like there was a certain bit of freedom that I had afforded myself, and I wanted to claim that. But my issue about it was I was very prideful about it. One day I go out with my friends, it was unplanned, and my mom dropped me off at Flooded Road. And we had such a good time with my homies until I lost my wallet. Kesan and Dimlo going back home. No wallet. Mengiti phone. Bank account is cleared. And I had just had my salary come in that week, and it was gone, all of it. Yo, in thing I kala, guys, I really believe Uguti, I was never supposed to be in that situation in the first place. Like, it was nobody's fault but my own. I had felt like that. I had felt Uguti, I'm moving mad and I'm moving crazy, way ahead of the fact that way before it even happened. And we all know what happens. Uguti, pride comes before the what? The fall. Fall I did. I'm so glad that it happened, and I'm so glad that it happened as soon and as early as it did, because I think it was the first few months after I was working, maybe like first 6 months, I learned a lot from that. I learned the tapping feature is convenient for you and for thieves. I learned you have to say no in some situations and be like, no, even though I could, here I'm not. Even in the pain of I just lost my whole salary, which I obviously did end up getting back. And it was just, I didn't think that would happen. I had to reconcile with myself, that's definitely not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But again, I was afforded that. But I had to do all these different things. And even in that consequence, there was lessons to be learned. And that's what you should do. Jalo, whenever you're doing something, even if you invest in the wrong place, even if you save your money and put it in the wrong account and all of these different things, there is a lesson. I shinchi imali for the worst, and watch how people behave around you and imali yako. Thankfully for me, I have friends who be like, it's cool, don't pay for that. We can pay for that ourselves. And I'll be like, I'm on my ass, let me buy everybody drinks, you know? And my friends will be like, it's cool, we got ourselves. You know what I mean? For me, I do it out of the pureness of my own heart and because I love them so much. And they tell me no because they love me so much. And Basi is ultimately on how they should manage their money, because in busy mina, just, you know. And even though you are doing it from a good place, sometimes it's not your place. Let money change you and the people around you for the better, not the worse. That experience that I had with losing my money did not make me stop enjoyment. Nani yazi ukuthi mina enjoyment, I love it. I love going out with my parents, I love going out with my sister, I love going out with my friends. Kumnandi. But it made me re-look at everything that I've been doing and think to myself, okay, my priorities are me, manch. Where am I trying to go with this money in the future? So it made me think of savings and expenses that I want to start engaging with for the betterment of myself. I'm just going to give you an example. I struggle spending money above a certain amount on things like food, shoes, groove. Like I know people, I know groove kuya spend imali, but ask me to catch a flight somewhere. Ask me to take out the same amount of money for a nice Airbnb. Ask me to do that, I won't even think twice. So that's a priority to me. Why? But as soon as somebody said, oh, do you want to come up to Joburg? I was like, yes. And the weave and that flight would have cost me the same amount. I prefer experiences rather than wearing my money or eating my money. So what did I do with that? I set up a savings account that's just on my banking app. The FNB banking app is very easy to set it up. Automated the processes so it debits on its own. It is called a scheduled payment and it goes into that savings account. And then I took that savings account and it basically acts as a piggy bank because I hide the money. I hide it in my app somewhere. Yeah, it's very hard to open. I have to authenticate myself and prove that it's me that wants to see my account. So money just goes into it all the time. And it's out of sight and it's out of mind. And I choose every day not to look at it as well. And recently I looked at it, I was like, hey, and that money paid for a trip that I'm going on. Cause I'm going on a trip. I wanted to go on a trip for my birthday. My birthday's coming up in July. I was like, I need that money now. So I opened, I was like, hey, and I'm using that money for transport. I'm like, thank you. So I paid for things, Galileo Mali, in preparation for my trip. And because that's what I prioritize. That is what I like to do. When now, for yourself, think to yourself, what are your priorities and what are you trying to do with your money even now? It was the same thing when I was in high school. What did I prioritize? I really prioritized music. So the first expense that I had was 69 on Spotify. So for me, I prioritize 3 things ultimately. I prioritize my health, I prioritize property, I want to own properties in the future, and lastly, I prioritize the legacy as a kai. And I want to be able with my grandchildren, my great grandchildren say, we have all of this and it was afforded by Wait, with all those looming big things in my mind. Obviously my health, I have recently had my own medical aid with Discovery and I'm the main member. Who would have thought? But to be honest, guys, that medical aid is so expensive. I cannot wait to be somebody's dependent on their medical aid one day. It's running, and why? Because I want to get my teeth done, I want to get my teeth whitened, I want to go to a dermatologist for my eczema and my skincare. I want to be able to check my gut. Why am I always constipated? And I just want to live long. I want to live very, very long, guys. I want to live so long. Property. I've always had a keen interest with property. I just love it. I just love looking at houses. I think I get it from my mom as well. Selling Sunsets is oh, that's what I'm gonna watch today. Selling Sunsets. Okay, yeah. Because I know in the future when I want to buy my own property or I want to invest in different kinds of property, I can put a down payment on something. If should anything happen to me, God forbid, I don't want my parents to be like, oh my God, Ushia, there's so much debt. So what did? I set up life insurance and a retirement annuity. So I can retire nicely. And I set up nice and early in my 20s so that I can retire nicely and retire early if I can. So figure that out for yourself. Don't let anybody else tell you what it is. Don't let this video now make you think, can I make a health insurance? What is it for you? What is it for you? With these many savings that I have set up for myself and that I'm trying to work towards, they require one theme, which is the other money lesson that I've learned is discipline and self-control. It's a big one. It's a very big one. I was one of those people, I said, I'm gonna do a budget. So I'll put some budgets and get type and make it look pretty, make it look whoa. Without discipline and self-control, none of those worked. And people ask all the time, how do you budget? How do you save? Can you show us this? Can you show us this? Nah, Minji. I was like, I really cannot. You have to work it and get your hands dirty with it. And you have to work it when you wanted to work it. When you think to yourself, yes, I don't want to save. I want to save, Jan. I want to save. That is when you will. Because I have lied to myself many a times saying that I'm going to put money into my savings account. I keep it in mind. Next minute. Fast, quick, in a hurry. So you can't do any of that without self-discipline and self-control, without telling yourself, I'm gonna put this money into my savings account and I'm not gonna touch it, point blank, period. This whole thing, even the boundaries that I've mentioned before earlier on in the video, even being able to say no to yourself is a huge one. Even with ourselves and our own boundaries. And when you tell yourself that you want it to work, best believe me, it will. And you're gonna thank yourself so much. You're gonna thank your past self so much once you get to the future and you have all of these things to choose from because you were so disciplined and you had self-control. It's a fruit of the spirit. You have self-control. Practice now. Now, no. I'm not gonna spend it on Groove. I'm gonna go to Groove, I don't know, once a month. Take myself on a solo date once a month. And then I'm gonna have money for food and all the other stuff that I wanna do. One of the things that I've done is limiting myself to 1 takeaway per week. So now I'm fast to make myself lunch. And whenever something else comes along and we know it's okay, now at this point we're working towards something else, that is when I will place another boundary on myself. It's okay, you're not gonna be able to do 1 or 2 or 3. When I have self-control, when I practice discipline, I'm not gonna do these things because there's a bigger reward coming for us at this point. That budget, not gonna work unless you want it to work. Another thing that I've learned in this season, a huge money lesson that I've learned is I don't know nothing. Let me tell you something right now. Since you got your degree, since you know everything, you don't. What I've done in my journey is I have set up a group of people around me that are able to advise me on these things. Obviously, my parents are number 1. And I think I've started to impart a lot of knowledge on my parents as well. So hopefully they feel the same way. They want the best for me. They'll always advise me in the best way possible. I've got brokers and they make life so much easier because number 1, they'll have a lot of companies and insurers underneath their belt that they're able to present to you so you can compare, and they'll help you compare, and they'll show you, okay, you have this, but you don't have this. You don't have this, but you will have this. And it's so helpful for me. So I appreciate them so much. So I'll ask them questions about, I don't know, just different things that I'm trying to figure out in that season. In that season, you know nothing, and access one pride about it. Go to someone and ask. Don't try to be out here doing it on your own. Hamba uyobuza abantu that have done it before you. You can learn from anyone. See what you can learn, see what you can use and apply it to yourself as well. I just feel like a lot of my peers are just trying to navigate this whole situation, and a lot of my peers have just stuff that is coming for them, and I'm like, I'm here and I can see all the stuff that has come for me and that I have to deal with, and it's like, ooh wee, angifuni izinto zinzume mase nifike lapho. Kumnandi siya enjoy manje sibancane, but just know kuyeza, and mase kufika ningasho ngishongo. So I really do hope that this video has helped you in some kind of way. If you have any questions for me, let us know down in the comments. If you get a job, let us know down in the comments. So congratulate subscribe to my channel. Come back next week Wednesday for another edition of Wanalo Wednesday. I love you guys so much. Like this video, comment, share. Okay, okay, guys, bye bye.